Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
That's a classic mistake.
Yeah.
All right.
Professional
I saw
right
that. That's a classic mistake. So this is the intro stage. I guess it's a decent time to introduce. This is the intro stage. The basics of this game. I guess Mega Man X. It's a fast-paced game, although it doesn't quite start out that way. You start out kind of just walking and mashing. The basics of this game, Mega Man X. It's a fast-paced game, although it doesn't quite start out that way. So the goal here is just kind of just walking and mashing. Yeah, and so the goal here is just going to be to not take damage from anything except for the bees, because the bees, they can do damage you nice and quickly. And okay. Sorry, I shouldn't be doing reactions to the gameplay because I'm gonna be delayed. Yeah. Yeah, that's a hard strat. Anyways, the goal here is to get down to a certain amount of HP before the end of the stage, because there's a forced loss on a mini-boss fight at the end of the stage. In the meantime, it's still just walking, mashing, getting rid of everything in your way. Oh yeah. Just for fun. There is a way. Sorry. There is a way to ride the cars that actually saves you a little bit of time as you walk across them, but that's a highly advanced strat that only the intermediate to advanced runners will try. Alright. So, once we're out of this stage, the first Maverick boss is gonna be Chill Penguin, and there you're gonna get the Dash Boots, which is probably the best upgrade in any Mega Man game ever, because it just radically transforms the entire way that you play the game, in a way that no item that I can think of in classic Mega ever did, except for maybe no, I don't think there is any. Yeah. Yeah, so in order to perform the route optimally, you need to pick up at least one up in any stage of your choice. Typically, the stage of choice is there's a free 1-up to grab in Sting Chameleon stage, but if you're feeling like you might take an extra death, then a good marathon safety is to take whatever life that you find on the side of the road or whatever. So now there's Dash Boots. Now we're moving fast. Yeah, when you're piloting the right armor there, you want to be careful not to accidentally hold up when you're doing that first jump, because you'll just jump out of the right armor and be stuck, because you need to use that to do a little double jump to save a little bit of time going over instead of under. I think I timed it out and it only saved like a second to go over versus to go under. It's really not that much, which is surprising. So for Penguin, this is one of the most obnoxious bosses in any game, because there's technically no limit to the number of slides he can do in a row, and when he slides, he's invincible and you can't hit him. You're not guaranteed a hit on him between slides, so... yeah, that's definitely a very wonderful revenge. Okay, so in Eagle stage, we're going to start our little collectathon. Starting, there's a heart just up and to the left of where you spawn in, so you have to jump from the conveyors there all the way across to the ledge on the top. That'll pick up the first heart. Yeah, so the way that works is when you dash, then one of your little lemons at a time on screen will do 2 damage. Ooh, that's a classic. That's okay, that's not a big, like, it's a big death compared to the size of the stage, but, like, objectively speaking, it's not that big. You already have the items that you wanted to pick up, so... just getting full mileage out of that extra 1-up you picked. So yeah, they're, again, using the dash lemon to do double damage on a couple of those lemon shots. It's weird, the double damage property only applies to 1 lemon on screen at a time. So if you just, like, mash, then as you're dashing towards something, then they won't all be double damage, but a good portion of them can be. So after the most useful upgrade in any Mega Man game, we have one of the less useful upgrades in any Mega Man game. Yeah, it's a key. It's a key. It unlocks the thing you actually want. Yeah. All right, so coming up here we got Eagle fight. Eagle is another notorious bird. Birds in Mega Man X games tend to hate players, and so the big offense that Eagle can do is to dive lots. So when he starts diving, he can dive either once or between 6 and 9 times before coming back down. So, so if you see more than 1 dive, you know you're getting at least 6, and at most 9. And then he'll come down and optionally go back up for more. This is a bit of a nail biter. All right. So, Storm Tornado, the weapon that you get from Eagle, is also very powerful. Shotgun Ice can be powerful as well, but you have to be very particular about how you place your shots. You want to place shots so that they go inside enemies, and then all the fragments hit. With Storm Tornado, like, you don't have those worries. It's just a really easy weapon to use and incredibly powerful. But limited in utility in this particular stage. So you'll see more in perhaps Mandrill stage or Kuwanger. Yeah, it's really worrisome. Like, if you break both those blocks and then fall down, you are kind of screwed. You have to either like reset and load from password, or you have to come back to the stage later. Or you can take a death. I'm not sure which one is fastest. I think the reset is fastest, but... That's the classic troll dig labor there. Yeah. I love those guys. They throw the pickaxe and then they laugh. They're like, they don't even care if they hit you. They'll just chuckle anyways. Yeah. And especially like the second from the right under over top the heart, like if you go to down the bottom route to actually go get that heart instead of collecting it with a boomerang, then 9 times out of 10, if you don't delay or kill that enemy, when you turn back around, that pickaxe will actually just hit you. It'll totally nail you. You'll look like an idiot and he'll look like a jerk. Yeah. It's weird. It's like the wince animation is also winking. Yeah, it's all fun facts of what we are here for. Moment of truth. Oh yeah. So the second half of this stage in particular is very, very tough, but no part of this stage is easy. So oh man. Hoping for health drops in this stage is like, if you find yourself in that position, then you're in trouble. But I see now, delayed, I see that he actually got trolled by the health drop, so... This elevator ride is a nice little break that you get in between the 2 impossible sections of this stage. You can see him like jumping up and then appearing to take damage but not actually taking any damage. That's a bug where if you try to wall kick off of these side spikes, you'll take the damage animation, but then it won't actually apply the damage to X. So you can use that and abuse it for iframes throughout the elevator ride. Yeah. So one of the primary reasons that he did this route, as opposed to the alternative like iceless route, is that it's very difficult to get that heart without having either boomerang or the ice sled. Because the ice sled can just like, you can ride it and get a lot closer to where you need to be to get up that ledge. So. Okay, so the goal of this fight is to lock Kuwanger into a certain pattern for the first part. But it looks like Brass was not quite successful in that. That's okay. Looks like he's into the teleport phase, which is not so bad. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so there's like 2 phases, and each of the phases is unique. The first phase, if you get close and shoot him, then he'll automatically rush at you and try to grab you and throw you at the ceiling, and you can just jump out of the way and hit him again and start the cycle over and over again, which is called dancing with Kuwanger. And then sometime between half health and dead, he'll go to a pattern where he just infinitely teleports, which can be dangerous, but if you just stand in the middle, then it becomes not a problem. So right after the hardest stage in the game, we're now going to the like second hardest stage in the game in Mandrill. There's a lot of things, there's a couple things to pick up here anyways, and then also just a lot of really difficult platforming to do in areas that are like filled with enemies. So here Brass is showing off just how powerful Tornado is. The charged form just rips through this mini boss because it's a weakness. So the boss, Mandrill, is coming up, I guess, and Mandrill is weak to ice, and ice will freeze him. But if you do hits as quickly as possible, then you'll actually get a hit in before he unfreezes himself, and then he will be not frozen briefly. So it can be a dangerous fight in the, like, little bits of time between your freeze cycles. Ooh. Okay, yeah, it is a dangerous fight, man. Mandrill does a lot of damage. He does 6 damage on contact, which would kill Brass in 4 hits from full health. those bats can be trolls. It's very, very tight to just like do a dash wall kick off of that wall and then make it up. Most likely you'll get owned by one of those bats. Yeah, definitely very important to despawn those birds as much as you can, because I think you can save like 3 or 4 seconds, or maybe even more, between like just doing the perfect bird despawns and just standing on the cart. Basically, the way that works is there's certain X positions of like the cart where it will check. And if X is standing on the cart, then it'll spawn a bird. But if X is not standing on the cart, then it won't. So you can just make sure that you're not on the cart at those points, and it will not spawn the birds. Yeah, it's like... It's a really weird stage, because there's not much at all other than the mini-bosses. Like, it's just a couple very short areas, and then 20 mini-bosses. Five mini-bosses in the stage in 100%, but... So here he's using Rolling Shield against the first of these anglerfish subs. And then most likely using Spark against the next one. Yeah. And so if you get enough ammo for Rolling Shield, you can use Rolling Shield against both of those. Which is slightly faster. It's like 3 hits faster. But you need it for the boss, so you don't want to use too much. Here, just trying to keep the cruiser screen as much as possible to reduce lag. And first of 2 Ouroboros fights in this stage. This one guarding that HP. The funny thing about that mini-boss, you don't even have to wait for it to come out of the ground. It spawns at the bottom of the screen, and you can just hit it with the Charge Tornado. This is another jerk boss sometimes. Because he can do the energy drain attack, during which he's invincible, and you can try to mash out of it, but like that comes at the cost of health, giving him back health, and if you do it in exactly the wrong way, you can actually get yourself trapped in an infinite combo and die. Yeah. The mini-boss actually takes more hits, too. So this is another curious case where the boss and the mini-boss are weak to the same weapon. I think Capcom did that on purpose. So you'll see him, like, in many cases, only shooting occasionally against this boss, and that's because it has about a half second of invincibility every time you hit it. So it would be wasteful of ammo and other resources to just mash in some cases. Alright, so X is... Yep, his armor is now complete. He takes half damage from everything now. So, you think about it, you double your health, and you get an armor piece that that reduces damage by half. So you now have effectively 4 times as much hit points. Well, or you will once you're done with the revisits. So, like, the game can be difficult before you find things, and then it becomes significantly less so after you're getting closer to 100% completion, which is pretty cool. Open up that one up because we will be using it later on to do Hadoken visits. Yeah. There's like... Oh yeah. This is... Well, among the bosses that I have ever fought in Mega Man games, this is definitely one of them. You can't be, yeah. It can be tough. Like, you can't be too aggressive with your shots to juggle him, because if you shoot a little bit too early, then obviously you're going to shoot into his iframes, and it's just going to disappear. Then you can run into some real trouble if he does, like, a quick one-shot pattern and then disappear if you didn't catch it in time. That's all the Mavericks down, and now there's just 2 revisits to do. One to Penguin Stage to pick up the heart, and then one to Armadillo in order to complete the E-Tank collection and get the Hadoken. Here you can see this is an area that was originally done by walking, and it's made much, much quicker with access to dash and weapons. I think you got lots of lives. So when you do this chameleon sting strat to go get the sub-tank there, if you're not quick enough getting back, then you can get into a little bit of trouble where you're having to race that mole miner. But no problem there. Okay, now it's time for the most exciting part of this run. I hope you guys enjoy this part of the game, because you're going to be seeing it a few times. You gotta grind. Yeah. See, this is because some people will play the DOS version where that actually does apply, but you don't have to do multiple visits. You only have to do it once. Yeah. On the Super Nintendo version, which is the version that's being played right here, you need to visit that space 5 times. And the definition of visit used by the game is you have to see the bottom left pixel of where the capsule would be 5 times. And between each time, you have to either reload the level or die. So in advanced speedruns, you'll see people do all sorts of crazy strats to just like barely see the top corner of that stage and then die immediately without ever touching the ground. But that's like stuff that takes a lot of practice and application. Yeah, it should be the last one. You've been really safe about your visits, so I don't see it causing too much problems. So, one important rule for the very last visit is that in order to actually see the capsule, you need to be at full HP. And if you load that area without full HP, I think you screw yourself out of it until you reload the stage. All right. Well, I think it's just you charge as you're entering the thing, and then the charge shot interrupts the animation for the Hadoken. But it doesn't let you make inputs any quicker. So any earlier. So it doesn't actually save time to do that. It's just fun. Oh, that sounds like what I think it is, isn't it? Oh, whoa, man. Yes, the objective is to take more damage because there's another fight with that mini-boss from the first stage file coming up, and you have to lose that one too. Yeah. Alright. So, let's see. File skip. It's good so far. You have to get there kind of quick and trigger the fight before the last text box closes and disappears. Otherwise, then you will only get like a portion of the time saved from that skip. Even just doing the first part still saves time because you would normally have to wait a long time while Zero is chasing Vile into that room. Yeah, you do not let go of start unless you know exactly what you're doing and exactly when to repress start and when not to when to let go, because there's a high chance that you can lock the game up and get yourself frozen there. So Brass tried to use the Hadoken there to finish off Vile in one hit because the Hadoken, it does 32 damage. So a full lost life bar. Unfortunately, he missed, and he had to finish off with the with the normal weakness rolling shield. Yeah, Vile has like mini boss iframes. So like when you're doing that fight with weapons, it's a really satisfying and fun fight because it's fast. He's a small target, so you have to be very precise with your shots. And and yeah, it's just really fun and dynamic. Nice. So when you open this fight with just a Hadoken, then there's a chance that Boomer will just stop moving and teleport immediately, and your Hado will miss. There's no way, if you are like buffering the Hado at the start of the fight, it's not possible to buffer it early enough that he can't dodge it if he decides to. Alright, so Ghost Spider. It's a very long fight when fought normally, and a very short fight if done with the Hadoken. Every cycle of Bow Spider is like 5-6 seconds or so. So getting the fight done in one hit instead of 8 is a blessing. Alright. Yeah, these platforms are kind of treacherous. If you don't know quite what you're doing, then you can get in trouble. Rare homing torpedo usage there, I saw. That used to be my strat, actually. The whole a long time ago, I would use torpedo through that whole section. So this is not quite the revenge we were hoping to get, but yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I think it was a good choice to delay the use of that sub-tank. The Chameleon Sting, when charged up, it grants invincibility, which you've seen him abuse quite a bit throughout the castle stages here. But it's also the weakness of Eagle for one, and also the boss of this area, Rangda Bangda. So in this level, you actually have to be kind of careful about how much of it you use. Because you needed to go fast through the stage, but then you also need it potentially for the bosses, especially if you miss. For example, if you were to miss a Hado against Eagle and then take damage. The last second disrespectado, I love it. Yeah, so the boss Rangdabangda has got 2 eyes and a nose. The eyes have 10 HP each, and then the nose has 12 for a total of 32. But when you're doing the fight this way, then each of those components is just going to take 4 hits from the chameleon sting. So they all have functionally identical HP. And then the eyes can be 3 colors, obviously. The green shoots 1 shot. The red will shoot 3 shots and either move or not. And if it moves, it'll take place of one of the shots. The blue one will just ram at you. And then the nose just bounces. Easy fight. So that was the big danger. Like, Sig 2 can be a dangerous stage, and if you die a couple times, or even in a normal run, if you die even once, then you're going to game over and have to go all the way back, which is a pain. So here, I think Brass is going to be trying to skip a mini-boss here. Sorry, a boss refight here. Basically, he's just using the ice to push himself through the door. Nice. This is one of my favorite things to show off. Oh, you spawned him on you. So Armadillo, once he gets past the bounds of the boss arena, then he'll be using the wrong tile set and look all glitched. Yeah, because it's in the wrong area. Yeah, there's quite a few of those type of things, especially when you're grabbing the sub-tank in Mammoth. So there's a way to actually like put an ice sled in the wall here, stand on it, do the input for a Hadoken, and then menu to Buster and actually do the Hadoken as you come back in from the menu. But it saves like 5-6 seconds optimally. And if you miss it, then you're in it for a world of hurt, so... Definitely not like an automatic must-do strat. Yep, so you get filled up. You can at least try the Hadoken against each boss as long as you keep yourself within like 8 HP of full. Alright, so just one last boss refight to go, and then take on D-Rex, and then challenge the final bosses. There's not all that much game left to go. I never like to hear that. Yeah, it's disrespect zone. Yeah. The cool guys don't look at explosions. Yeah, trying to line up a Hadoken on this D-Rex is difficult sometimes. It's got many names. Yeah. If you got the ammo, especially you've got tons of health, right? This is 100%, so it's not like a dangerous fight where he can kill you in 2 hits. Yeah. Oh, you're so in range of PB. Like, this is very doable. So it looks like the strat he's using here is to use a charge shot to actually knock the dog back, and then you dash forward and do the Hado. Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry, actually, this is... I should have remembered that because you've been doing charge Hadokens the whole time, so... That's okay. This fight is pretty predictable if you know how to stay on the wall, so... Okay, so the way to fight this this boss with Electric Spark is just to shoot the spark onto the wall so that it splits and then goes and hits Jedi there. And that lets you keep your distance, stay like vertically displaced from him, stay safe, and you can still get hits in. It's just the timing can be kind of tricky sometimes. Looks like he's dead. No, not against Jedi. Not likely. That fight is only like, what, 20 seconds. If you if you nail everything, and it's not going to be much longer than that if you don't. So you can see he's actually gotten onto the left claw, and he's going to be standing towards the right side of the left claw. And the reason for that is just to make sure that, number one, the lightning can't hit you unless you're towards the center of the claw. So you stay safe from that. And then the right claw actually will occasionally come across to get you. But if you're standing on the left claw and on the right-hand side of the left claw, then there's a lot less that it can do to troll you. Man. Congrats, man. Good run. Oh, no. Yeah, so if anybody in the audience is thinking of picking up Mega Man X, there's tutorials out the wazoo. There's tons. Tiki made one for 100%. Walrus made an even more in-depth one for 100%. Energy Zam has a tutorial for any percent, and there's an RTA wiki, which is kind of out of date, but still has lots of good basic stuff at mmxrta.wikia.com.